These speaking engagements that I see you doing recently, it feels like it's starting to take like a rock star level of speaking engagements.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Brother, I can't explain it, man. My speaking events, bro. I just did a speaking event at Central in North Carolina, bro, and they were turning people away. Like literally, we are considering moving to 1,000 seaters now. But there's a lot of rappers that can't get 1,000 people. You know, me, Claude Anderson, and Dr. Umar, we did Brooklyn. Let's be really clear. We did Brooklyn. 1,000 people. They bought all of my t-shirts, homie. Like, I can't explain that feeling, bro, because, you know, one of the things I talk about in my lectures is I don't care about what you think about me. I just want you to think. You feel me? I just want you to think. Because if you are truly a universal studier and you study across the board, you are learning new things every day. You know, you're thinking on different levels. You're vibrating differently every day. Hopefully it's rising. But if you teach somebody something this day, you may not ever see them again. So they may live the rest of their life on this level. But if I teach you how to think or help you to think, then no matter what information you get or whatever you go through, you can process it yourself without the help of anybody else. So for me, these speaking events, bro, it's spiritual, bro. I can't, bro. I was at Georgia State last night, bro, and for the first time, it wasn't, well, not for the first time, but for the first time in a long time, it wasn't totally packed. But bro, it was magical. Bro, I told all of the students to just come huddle up and get around me, and we sat down. Like I sat down on the stage, and we went hard. We went hard. And a Christian organization brought me. And I'm telling them that they are a part of God. I'm telling them that the devil does not exist. I'm asking them questions like, everything of substance was taken away from the African when he was brought here as a slave. Your culture, your language, your history. Then I turned around and said, if that is the case, why did they give you Christianity? It's not logical. I said, if they didn't want you on earth, then why in the hell, and hell is the operative word, would they want you in heaven? I said this, and a Christian organization brought me, dog, that's power. I mean, the pastor is sitting down like, I know she didn't say this, but I know she was thinking like, damn. Bro, Brother Wesley Muhammad, he told me that's dangerous. Bro, when we were at Central, a young girl got abducted by the cops. We fouled out of there and went and got her, homie. That's power, bro. You know, you got a lot of rappers, bro, that got millions and millions of fans, but they won't listen to him do nothing but rap, homie. But the difference I will tell you, Smallz, is I'm getting this paper, bro. I'm going to be a billionaire. It might not be from rap, but I tell you, I'm not going to let our people or any other person do me like they did Malcolm and Martin. I love my people, but I will not let my family suffer for what I believe in.
On these speaking engagements, it's not like you're on a tour of speaking engagements. You're just
No, I just finished the tour.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But what's funny about the speaking tour, it originally wasn't a speaking tour. What happened is that all of the dates, but like Sunday, I think it was like Sunday and Monday for like a 2-week period, every day I was speaking. So we just called it a tour because basically I couldn't come home. So you might as well call it a tour. But Smallz, I'm so thankful, bro. You know, I used to poke my chest out and, you know, I know that it has to do with the way that I think. and how I vibrate now, but I'm still humbled that like people love me, bro. I didn't have this feeling, bro, when I had the #1 single in the United States, bro. Like I go to hoods, man, and people say thank you, bro. You know, I had people who never gave a damn about politics who come to me and like, bro, I ain't never gave a damn about that shit, Banner, but like, bro, I had somebody tell me one time that they trusted me. It's like, bro, we trust you. And that's a lot of responsibility, bro, because black people have been beaten so bad and lied to so bad, man, for them to come out and pay for me to speak. Even though I research and I'm supposed to get paid for my time and for my research, but to know why my people act the way that they act, and regardless of the program, and they still love me, bro. I take that shit so serious, bro. Like, and I give them my all, bro. I give them my all, and we have a good time. Like, we go in, but we have a good time, man. And when we marched down to that police station in North Carolina, bro, I knew we was doing the right thing, because it just wasn't talk. You know, we went and stood for that girl, good or bad, man. And Ninth Wonder was with me. You know, Coach Lavelle was with me. And I think the most powerful thing I did that night, man, what I did was after they released her, they ended up releasing her, they took her to, you know, the main station. I told the students to just trust me. I'm gonna bring her back. And I told them to meet me, you know, in the square area where all the students meet at sometimes, in the middle of the dorms. I told them to meet me back there at midnight, bro. You know, it was raining outside, and they all came back, bro. Well, they didn't all came back, but I was like 50, 60% for young people in college, and it's raining outside. 50% is still dope, but they came back. And I think the most important thing I did that night is I told them, I was like, yo, I'm going home tomorrow. I won't be here tomorrow. So I'm going to say a few words, and I'm going to step back, and I'm going to let y'all handle it. And them students handle it, dude. Like they were so articulate and so passionate. And then I realized that's all that we have to do. And bro, this is something that I was in DC speaking about 3 days ago. And I think I shocked the whole crowd. They asked me, why is it so important and why am I so excited to be in the movement right now? And guess what I told them, Smallz? I said, because of these children. And all the elders went, huh? What do you mean? I said, y'all try to play these kids like they're a lost generation. They're not. They just don't give a fuck about your politics. They don't give a fuck about your leaders. And they barely care about your religion. All of those lies and all of that heavy stuff that was passed down from our parents, these kids don't give a damn about that. But if we don't paint things in their mind, they can either be zombies or they can be space-age revolutionaries. The page is clean right now, bro. All we have to do is spend time, paint vivid colors. And the crazy thing, Smallz, I just want to tell you this, and I had this thought today. I was trying to figure out why our people and why this generation is in the position that it's in, and I thought about something. It's because, especially as it pertains to my people, we chased the American dream so hard and so long, and the dream was never made for us. It was never meant for us to be a part of it. We chased it so hard that we put our children in front of the television. We put our kids in front of the radio. We put our kids in front of the video game, which are programmed. And I mean this, radio programming, television program, which was programmed to make them feel like they were less than human. You wonder why kids want to be thieves. That's all they ever saw on television for the most part. You know, when I audition for a movie, 9 times out of 10, I'm Uzi with a black Escalade. I laughed with the kids a couple days ago. I said, give me a green Escalade and let me be Lavelle or David. Can I be the teacher? You know, and these children, bro, they are ready, bro. They just waiting on us. And whatever these children are Smallz, it's our fault that they are. Whether it's good or bad, we just got to start spending some time with them. And that's actually another reason, bro, I wanted to tell you this, but we started talking about something else. I'll tell you one of the reasons why I started rapping again. There was this kid a young kid, I don't even think he was 20, on Twitter, believe it or not. He said, David Banner, I'm really proud of your success. I saw the Gatorade commercial. I saw all the movies you were in. Congratulations. But he was basically like, but what about me? He was like, what if your music helped me? And I never thought about that, bro. When I first got into the game, it was about my people. It was about Mississippi. It wasn't about David Banner. And the more that it became about me, the less I lost the soul, the less I lost that feeling, that hunger. And it made me realize something. Think about hip hop. Hip hop, the same thing happened in hip hop that happened in American culture. The middle class is almost gone. You know, either you selling, 800,000 or $1 million, or you selling right around 20, 30,000. The middle class, the 100,000, the 300,000, the 400,000, 500, 600,000 sellers, they're gone for the most part. And the artists that the children trusted, they either start going doing movies, producing, or just stop rapping all the fuck together and went and got a job. We all left them. So they didn't have anybody to look up to listen to. Similar to what the fucking cops did in Chicago. They went and arrested all the OGs. You know what I'm saying? All of the elders. So these kids went wild because they didn't have nobody to look to and nobody that they respected. Same thing happened in rap. We left these kids alone. And as much as they say that they want money, you know what they want even more? Is your fucking time. And we don't show these kids no time, bro. I sat in there last night after my speaking engagement, bro. I sat in there an extra hour. I had shit to do, bro, but man, I need these kids as much as they need me. You know. I want to tell you something that a child told me. I'm going to stop calling him a child. He's a grown man because he probably strong as me. He said David Banner basically, and I'm paraphrasing, he says, an ism is basically the act of, right? Ism is the act of, and if you are a racist or you practice racism, then you only practicing race. And when he told me that, it really started making me think about something. White people are doing exactly what they're supposed to. They're trying to preserve their culture. We just are not. You know, they got their rebel flag. I barely ever see us flying a red, black, and green flag on the back of our car, on the back of our truck. They're putting their people in movies first. They're supposed to. Why don't we do the same things? You know what I'm saying? Or the same thing. And I'm not talking about the practice of white supremacy. That's wrong. And that's worth me dying for, to stop you from doing that from and to my people, or to my people, I should say. But we just don't do it, bro. They make it hard for you to get in rock music, right or wrong. You ain't gonna just fly to the top or just jump up on no rock station. I even gave people the example of the NBA. If anybody should, or if any three people should be the image of the NBA, in my opinion, it should be who?
Michael Jordan.
Most people would say Michael Jordan. But even from a financial standpoint, maybe Bird or Magic. Only because of their rival and because of those two people, they were able to get syndicated on television or have the opportunity to be played constantly on television because of that white and black rival, which it didn't work as much because Bird wouldn't play into it, which I thought was really dope of him. But white people are basically saying, no matter how high you can jump, how much money you make me, I will never let you be the image of my league. We don't do the same thing in rap. We let people do whatever the hell they want to in our music, and that's sad.
For someone that sees your name at an upcoming speaking engagement, what can they expect? If they don't, maybe they just know David Banner, the rapper, and they don't know, what you might talk about or what I'm saying? What can, and just in general, what can they expect?
Well, it's amazing that you say that, because if they just think that I'm the David Banner that they knew, that I don't want them to think any different, because I want them to come thinking that's who I am. That's my power. Because one of the things that amazed me about so-called conscious people, one of the reasons why I told you I don't want to call the God Box a conscious album, is because I'm not marketing to conscious people. You already conscious. You don't need me. That's the problem. We get in our little corners and we just talk to each other. Just try to show off and show people how smart we are. Give a fuck about how smart you are. What you doing with it? I don't see you in the streets. You feel me? So for me, I don't really care what people think or how they think, Just come. Figure it out. I know that I'm going to give you my all. And the thing that I never understood, Smallz, is that I've always been talking the same shit. I was just drunk, mad, and maybe oversexed. But I was young, and I was growing, bro. I was hurting. I was depressed. I was mad. I was confused. I couldn't understand why white people did black folks so bad when we ain't do nothing but build this bitch. I couldn't understand why we treat each other the way that we was treating each other. I couldn't understand why I was so angry, bro. And I was depressed. And us as black men, we don't talk about depression, or we don't even know what depression is. So I speak about all these things, bro. Congress, I was there. Katrina, we were there. Homie, we've always been there. And when I say we, I mean my team, because it ain't just me. I'm just the face. Bro, I have advisors, bro, from all over the world. This stuff that I'm talking about is just not me. I can't even sit up here in front. I have people who work 9 to 5s who don't have a voice. I have people in certain organizations who are sort of like, spooks that sat in front of the door. And I don't have any children, so I don't have no fear. My mom knows what I stand for. She know I'm not gonna stop. She gave that away after high school. She know what I stand for. So my speaking events are all the culminations of it's just a culmination of the old David Banner, the new David Banner, and the future David Banner. And if anything, bro, it's about spirituality. I want to give people one example, bro. I honestly think that the devil is noise. Or I said the devil doesn't exist, but in the sense of what we think the devil is. The devil isn't there. There is no devil. But the confusion that we have in our life and the pain that we have in our life that we think is a result of the devil, it's a whole bunch of noise. I believe you find God in silence. I believe you hear God's voice in meditation. We always talking, we always praying, but we never listen. We always in church hooping and hollering, but we never listen. You know? These are the types of things that I bring to my people. You know, the things that we eat. You know, we don't treat ourselves like gods and goddesses, bro. You know, I don't mean to get all heavy on you, Smallz. It got really silent in this chat.
No, you good? We're listening.
Yeah,
We're listening.
man.
We're listening.
Yeah, man.